Okay, I think Richard Graves is on the call. So we'll start with Richard from Sky Sports News. Go ahead, Richard.
Cheers, Danny. Morning, David. How's things?
Morning. Very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good, thank you. Obviously, it's been a successful series for you so far with the bat and for the team as well. How pleased are you, firstly, with your own personal form and secondly, with the way the team has played in tight situations against Australia?
Yeah, really pleased. When you get limited opportunities, you have to sort of make full use of those. So to do that when you're under pressure is, very satisfying. It would have been nice to have been there at the end with Jos last night and to have won that game with him. But, there's another opportunity in the next one. And, the way we've approached this series has been fantastic. The comeback the bowlers had in the first game to sort of steal the game for us. And then last night, especially batting second on that wicket to do it that comprehensively and the way we played, the positive way we played to actually take down that target was very pleasing. So it's good signs for us moving forward.
And if you can reflect on the last 12 months and the journey for you personally, because your stats certainly at this level in this format of the game stand comparison next to anyone in world cricket. So how tough has it been establishing yourself in the starting 11 for England?
Yeah, it's been tough. I think we all know how good the players are that hold those positions. Their records over the last 4 or 5 years have been fantastic. So for anyone to break in, you have to be extremely consistent and sort of win games of cricket for England. So hopefully I've sort of ticked a few boxes that Owen and the selectors and their coaches want, and hopefully I can keep building on this if I keep getting opportunities. I'm obviously aware that guys like Jason and Stokesy will still come back in at some point, and it's my job to score as many runs as I can and the opportunities I have to put pressure on them and Morgs and the selectors when it comes down to it.
And Ashton Agar this morning has spoken to us about the pride the Australians have in being the world T20 number one side at the moment. If you beat them in this third T20 game, then you take that. Is that something you guys as a group have discussed?
It's been talked about loosely. I don't think we go into series to become the number one or number two or number three team, depending on where we're at. Our aim is to always just win every series we're playing and to win every game. And it's about finding ways to win those games. Owen always speaks about the way he wants us to play. And as long as we keep playing those way or the way that he wants us to play against the specific opposition, I think we're happy with that. But, if we do manage to win tomorrow and to put the Aussies under more pressure, it would be fantastic to finish number one.
Just finally from me, we've heard this morning that Jos has been released from the bubble to go and visit his family for a couple of days. When he's on the field, though, and you're stood at the opposite end watching him bat, what's it like and how much easier does it make your job?
Oh, best seat in the house. You watch these guys on TV quite a lot, especially when you're not a regular, and you see the ball striking capability of them. But when you're standing on the other end and you actually see how clean and how hard he hits the ball. I mean, he hit one back at Richardson yesterday. That was like an absolute tracer bullet. And I hardly saw it when I was, maybe 2 or 3 yards out of the way from him. So I don't know how he managed to get a hand on that. But, it's fantastic to be there and watch how guys go about their work and do their work. So even though I'm 33 years old and I've played 200 games of cricket in 2020, you still watch and you're a little bit in awe of the way guys like that play.
Thanks, David.
Thank you. George from PA, please.
Hi, David. Bob played last night. You've had huge success in T20 cricket over the last 12 months, especially. A sort of theme that kind of keeps coming up is you start slightly slowly. In some of your innings. Is that a tactic, or is that just playing the conditions?
It's not a tactic. You obviously go out and you want to score as many runs as you can quickly. My first 3 or 4 2020s, I actually got off to really good starts, and then the more you play. Especially when you're at 3, you bat in different positions. You might come in the first over, you might come in the 5th over. You might face a bowler in his second over that's in his rhythm. The goal is always obviously to score as quickly as you can. So it's not something in my game plan that I want to take 5 balls or 10 balls. It's just, sort of the way it happens. There has been a lot written in the press about it. It's something I've spoken to Morgs about even before this series. And I said, look, if there's anything that you want me to do anything differently. And he was like, look, the way you play is exactly what we want you to play. You just keep doing what you're doing. So, when the man that matters is Owen Morgan, and if he's happy with the way I'm approaching it, then that's sort of good enough for me at the moment. But that doesn't mean I'm not trying to improve on that. I'm always trying to improve and be better so that I can keep pushing a case to be in the starting 11.
Okay, we will go with Martin Smith.
Yeah, hi David. Very Australian-centric question, this one. Just regarding the Big Bash, have you or your management have any discussions with any Big Bash clubs about coming out to play in that competition this Australian summer?
Yeah, there has been some contact with one of the clubs. I think that's still ongoing at the moment. So hopefully we can finish and finalise that soon, and hopefully that can get announced. Just
from afar, you've obviously would have watched the tournament. What's your impressions, and what are you hoping to get out of that trip to Australia? Yeah,
it looks a fantastic tournament. It's something that, especially in the winter, you really like to watch. It seems a very good product. It's something that I've really wanted to be part of for a long time. So hopefully this can get finalised and I can get the opportunity to play in that. As a player, you want to play all over the world and in different leagues. It's the only way you sort of improve your game and you learn different conditions. So it would be a great learning opportunity for me to go out there, especially with, there's a 2020 World Cup in 2 years' time. So if I am performing well enough for England to still be part of that and get some good experience in the Big Bash, I think that can only help.
Don't suppose you want to tell us what club it is, do you?
I don't know if I'm allowed yet, so I'm just going to sit on the fence with that one. Sorry.
No worries. Thank you very much.
Cheers, Martin. John Etheridge, please.
Hey, David. You average 50 in T20 international cricket, strike rate of 150. I mean, is it a source of some frustration that you're still kind of I wouldn't say a fringe player, but perhaps not fully established in the side with those sort of numbers?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a frustration. It's we as players that are on the fringe, we know how tough it is. We know how Owen runs the team. To create a fearless environment, people need to be secure in their spots. Which is why when guys are injured, sort of for series like this, Morgs will tell you before the series that you're going to play 3 games, 2 games, 1 game. So there is no fear when you go out to bat. I want to be part of this 11. Hopefully I can just keep scoring the runs and keep putting England in winning positions and put pressure on the selectors and more. That's all I can do as a batsman. Getting frustrated is not going to help me or get me in the team.
And with Jos missing tomorrow, would you expect Banton to go up to open again?
Yeah, look, I don't know. I think I'm staying at 3. I've been told I was batting 3 for the series, so I assume I'm staying at 3. And then, yeah, but most likely Banton will go up. But, don't quote me on that. I'm not the captain. I don't want to get in trouble by suddenly picking a team. So I'll leave that to Owen to confirm.
Well, just finally, how's life at Yorkshire?
Yeah, really good, actually. Really enjoyed it. Me and the wife, we bought a house. We got the keys just as lockdown started, so that was nice to move into that. We've really settled in nicely, and yeah, really enjoying it. It's a bit more space up there.
Cheers, John. Lawrence Booth, please.
Hi, David. Just following on from John's first question, I think you average more than anyone in the history of T20 international cricket, including Virat Kohli by 0.06 of a run or something like that. Given that, does the fact that you don't yet fully consider yourself, from what you've just said, an absolute nailed-on player in the starting 11, does that kind of thing keep you on your toes each time? And is that actually quite a productive thing both for you and the team?
It is. The type of player I am, I quite like to know where I stand. Sort of in the team setup as such, which is why I said when you get played in a series, you know exactly what you're going to do. Morgs does that really, really well, giving you that freedom and taking all the fear away. I don't think I'm anywhere near as good as Virat Kohli and those guys, even though the numbers are sort of suggesting that, maybe if I played 50 games, I can sort of be compared to some extent. But, all I can do is score runs. That's as simple as it is. If I keep scoring runs at the rate I'm scoring at them at, hopefully it will make them make it hard for them to ignore what I'm doing, and I can sort of somehow find a way into that starting 11.
Thanks.
Chris Stocks, please.
Hi, David. Similar theme to John and Lawrence's questions. When you have these conversations with Owen, are you under the impression that you're kind of integral to the plans that England have heading into that next World Cup in India next year?
Look, the way it's run here, they never talk about it being too far ahead. They always look to plan. So, you'll plan your playing conditions that will suit and game plans that will potentially suit the 2020 World Cup in India, which is why I think we're playing on the same on used wickets here, because that will be what India potentially will be if the wickets aren't very good. But we, especially if you're not contracted, you never really know if you're in or out of the team. But that doesn't mean it's a bad thing. That that just makes sure that when you do get your opportunity, you try and take the most of it.
Do you think, talking about contracts, you put yourself in a good position now to maybe get a white ball one when they're awarded at the end of this summer?
Oh, I hope so, but that's the decision made from people above my pay grade. If I get the call, then I'll take it, and if I don't get the call, then nothing changes really.
Okay, last question, Matt Robber, please.
Hi, David. Just on that next T20 World Cup in India, you've obviously played lots of franchise tournaments over the past couple of years, and some tough pitches in Bangladesh, for example. Do you feel like the learnings against spin from those tournaments stand you in good stead for India?
Yeah, it does. Obviously, I have no idea if I'll be part of that World Cup squad. I obviously would like to be, but there's a long way to go from there. I think it's undervalued how important these tournaments actually are to a player's development. As you said there, you go to Bangladesh and you could play on a wicket that's a 200 wicket on the Monday, on the Tuesday it's 120 wicket, wins the game. So it's, you're consistently learning how to adapt and read conditions, which I think is one of my strengths in 2020 cricket, is that I can assess situations pretty quickly and when to go, when to sit back. And it's a good learning curve going out there. So, if I'm lucky enough to play well enough over the next year and somehow get into that 2020 World Cup squad, then I hope that experience that I've had from playing in tournaments will put me in good stead.
And just on domestic cricket, both in the blast after this series and during the winter, is there any thought you might sort of drop into the middle order to try and prove a point about your adaptability, or do you think top three is very much your routine?
Yeah, it's something I spoke to Owen about, actually. I spoke to him about that in the South African series. And, Owen's answer to me was, if you drop down to 5 and you play county cricket and you don't score runs, there's a potential that you won't get re-picked in the England squad, because it's obviously picked on form and who's doing well as well. So he said, that's your choice if you want to take a year out doing something that's totally out of your comfort zone, but then will potentially risk you getting picked for England in the future. And his words were just, if you keep doing what you're doing and you keep improving, there's no reason why you can't potentially still slot in those positions, even though they see me as a top 3 batter at the moment, or top 4, because I batted 4 in South Africa.
Cheers.
Okay, thanks everyone. Have a good day. Cheers.
Thanks, Danny. Thanks, David.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.